Hey guys, it's Ghost Host, and I only have 15 minutes to make this video, so I'm going to try and make this video shorter than I wanted it to be. But this is going to be a review of the Marvel Legends Retro Wave Spider-Man figure. The Spider-Man Retro Wave, not the Retro Wave Spider-Man. Before I get started with the video, please just be aware that this is for adult collectors only. 13 plus. Thank you very much. Let's get started. And my catchphrase, holy crap, what a figure. Because, seriously, holy crap, what a figure. This is probably the nicest Spider-Man figure I have ever seen. This is just so amazing. And I can't compliment the figure enough. But I can say my gripes about the figure enough, because I don't have a lot. But what's wrong with the figure is prominent, so I'm going to list those in a minute. But I wanted to go over the history of Spider-Man figures. But first I'm going to go over the history of Spider-Man himself. Spider-Man first appeared in the early 1960s. He was written by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, who are the original creators of Spider-Man, and his design may or may not have been based off of a Jack Cooper costume company Spider-Man costume. So, he might have a risque backstory, and people really don't know where his design came from, and honestly, who created him at this point. Some people say Stan Lee, some people say it was all Jack Kirby, I say it was both of them, and they just don't want to admit it. But Stan Lee's dead now, and Jack Kirby doesn't talk about it, so we don't have much to go off of. But yeah, he's a great character. He's remained one of the most popular superheroes of all time since his release, and he hasn't had much change. He's had a lot of video games and a lot of TV shows and movies, and usually his design stays the same, so that's just a real testament to how great of a character he is. Right here next to him I have the first ever 6-inch Spider-Man figure. And right here I have the Pizza Spider-Man figure, which remains to be one of the most expensive Hasbro Spider-Man figures to date. And honestly, what an evolution. From Toy Biz to Hasbro finally, but with a lot of articulation. Toy Biz revolutionized action figures in the 6-inch line forever. This figure first appearing in 2001 in the Spider-Man Classics line. He really doesn't fetch much, and people don't give him the recognition that I think this figure should get. Some people say that's ugly, some people say that its proportions are off. I like the figure. It's really nice. And Spider-Man Classics used to come with comic books, a base, and sometimes accessories. So they really gave us their all for what was originally $11 to $15 figures. Like, you really got your bang for your buck and more with these figures. And it's sad to see Toy Biz go bankrupt as soon as they lost the line, or the rights to Marvel figures. Yeah, the figure has a lot of articulation. Now on. Right, he's down, but I was going to move him anyway. This is the Pizza Spider-Man figure. When he came out, people were singing the praises of this one, saying that he was the best Spider-Man figure to date. And he's the best Spider-Man figure ever. Honestly, he was okay. I liked him. I first got him like the week he came out into stores. I got him at Toys R Us. He's a good figure, yes. But did he deserve all the hype? Yes and no. Back then, yes. Today, no. His body has been reused many times before for Spider-Man 2099, for the Raft box set. It's been reused a lot. It's even been reused for characters such as the Vulture and Electro. So, yeah, it was a pretty good body mold, pretty good articulation, but he has been completely phased out now because of this guy. Some people say that the other, let's see, I forgot what company it was, the Japanese import Spider-Man that just came out. It's good, I just think it's too short. When I remember the name, I'll say it, or I'll put it in the comment section. If you know the name, put it in the comment section. I totally forgot. But yeah, this figure takes a lot of the traits from the Beast figure and puts it into this one with the articulation and everything else. And you know, before I get into this figure alone, well, I've already been 5 minutes into this video, let's get into accessories, and we have to speed through this review. He comes with 2 fisted hands, 2 web-slinging hands, 2 heads, one being based off of his classic eye design, one being based off of, I don't know, John Romita art? I'm really not sure. If they were to re-release this figure, Hasbro, make it pegless and give a McFarlane-style head. So yeah, also, he has a new joint right here. It's like a ball peg of the neck instead of a hinge. And it has a cut back here so that he can look up. I think this was a bad decision since it really doesn't add anything more that the Pizza Spider-Man couldn't already do. And he can look up, down a good amount. Before we get into anything else, we'll do Deco and Sculpt. For Sculpt, he's basically just the Sunfire body mold, but edited for 2 new pieces of articulation. Also to have this crease of the fabric around the glutes, or butt, I don't know, I don't care. And, are like the only folds of the costume, which is a little sad to see, since Electro had a lot of creases in the costume, and a really good sculpt, but this one has a really good sculpt too. The deco, I've heard a lot of people complain about the deco of this figure, such as the eyes weren't painted right, the webs aren't good, the blue was painted on poorly. Honestly, I didn't get a bad figure. There might be a little bit of mishaps in the paint, but it's not that bad, it's not that noticeable, and I really like the figure. Alright, let's see. Let's get him standing next to other figures in the line. I know I've done this for literally every other figure, but I just wanted to get him standing next to the 2 villains of the line. That being Green Goblin and Electro. And he stands really well next to both of them. If you've seen my other reviews, I've already done this before. But I also wanted to get him standing next to his first ever villain, that being the Chameleon, which first appeared in Amazing Fantasy number 15, and he tried to impersonate Spider-Man to get him arrested. Mysterio also did that too, so a lot of his older villains had pretty much the same goal. And then here's his second ever villain, or the first ever villain he faces off in his own comic book, which is the Vulture. So that's really cool to see. I'm really glad I have the Vulture after reading the original comic. I'm just super happy that I have them both. I do not have any of the first appearance Spider-Mans, whether that be... Oh, wait. Yes, I do. I do have the Sentinel Wave first appearance Spider-Man. So let me pause the video, and I'll go get him. Alright, I'm back. And I got another figure that I totally forgot to grab, and I was setting everything up. And it was the Toy Biz Sentinel Wave first appearance Spider-Man. I do not have the Spider-Man Classics first appearance Spider-Man, though. But hey, I have this one. As you can tell, they have very different color schemes, with him having a darker red and brighter blue, and this one having a lighter red and black instead of blue, because that was his original costume. They do not stand well. Toy Biz figures were notoriously shorter. So yeah, one is definitely smaller. They have a different spider. So yeah, two very different figures, yet they're portraying the same character at the same time. But I think they're both very good representations. If you have the chance to get him, I'd suggest do it. He's around $40, 30, 40. I got him for 15 because someone didn't know what they were selling on eBay. So I got him for a steal. You might not be that lucky though. But if you want him, then yeah. But yeah, I guess now that we've gone through everything, I guess we can get to articulation and then wrap everything up. So he can look up. He can look down, both very good amounts. His head can go side to side in a tilt, and even look all the way around. So that's really cool. That's one reason why I like that joint. But it is really noticeable when he looks up. So that's one thing I hate about the joint. He has butterfly joints, first time in the entire way that any character had butterfly joints. His arm can't go up super far. I was really disappointed about that, considering that he's Spider-Man, one of the most agile characters in all of Marvel, and he can barely even put his arm up. His arm can go all the way around, bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, some decent range, and can go up and down or side to side and swivel. He has a ball peg at the diaphragm and a crunch at the lower abs and waist, allowing to get some really just bent poses. His leg can kick a good amount forward, but even a better amount forward when you drop his leg down, which is the next thing of articulation, or next joint. His leg can drop down to allow for extra articulation. His leg can go out to the side a good amount. It can go back a good amount. It can swivel at the top of the leg. Really good range for the double jointed knees. Swivel at the top of the boot for the first time in a while for a Spider-Man figure. So it can go up and down, up and down. And it has an amazing pivot that can go 360 degrees. So, I mean, he stands well next to other characters in the line, and I think, honestly, he's the best Marvel Legends Spider-Man to date. Besides, he's pretty much tied with the, what's the figure called? The McFarlane Spidey from Toy Biz. So, yeah, he's really good. Amazing sculpt. Amazing, articulation, amazing paint. He's honestly, I guess you could say, the perfect Spider-Man figure if you get a really well-painted version of him. So yeah, I guess that's all for this review today. Don't really have much else to say. If you liked the video, please leave a like. If you can comment, share, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of my content. I do Marvel Legends reviews and everything else. So I guess bye. Have a wonderful day.